I have a question about Stargate. I haven't heard a lot of discussion about it, and I have mixed feelings about AI in general. And for example, when Larry Ellison mentioned that they could use AI technology to detect cancer from a blood test and then use AI to create a vaccine using the mRNA technology, that gave me pause. Kind of reminded me of Elizabeth Holmes meets Anthony Fauci. And
That's a
not
good
Uh,
one.
not that I'm an anti-vaxxer, but after the pandemic, I feel a bit betrayed by the government, and I wouldn't be quick to get another mRNA vaccine, especially one created within 48 hours. And I'm not sure if Dr. John is on and wanted to join the conversation, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
yeah. Well, in general, uh, the Biden administration saw this, the Trump administration knows it. AI has the greatest possibilities on science and efficiency and all sorts of things. And it's also got huge potential dangers. And there's lots of decisions to be made by both the government and the private sector. I worry because government couldn't even regulate Facebook correctly. They couldn't find the balance between public and private there. So the consequences of this are more than just high school friends sharing recipes, right? Consequences here are massive. On this particular issue, I think I worry a little bit if the empowerment of all these people coming in, like Sachs is a very smart guy, but coming in from the outside, not really being in the government, being these special government employees, I worry a little bit about both the profiteering potentially, but also this issue of what's the right balance? Where's government supposed to regulate? Because we all know what we want it to look like, but we also know how dangerous it is. And that's just for the United States. What's China and Russia and North Korea going to do with this? So it's a big problem. I encourage, though, they brought in brilliant people with private sector experience, and this has got to be driven by the private sector. But think about what the Pentagon must secretly be doing with AI. I mean, must be extraordinary. So, Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, Mark, I think you said it well. I mean, I worked with tech companies for 4 years. They're so competitive, and they, as a rule, they don't want government regulation because of the speed at which the technology goes. They want to be the one to leapfrog to the front of the line to make the most money, right? They are capitalists. I think, though, Mark, as you said, and we saw a little bit of this with Musk smacking at Sam Altman, and they're going back and forth, that the risk of all these people from the outside coming in who have financial stakes in the outcome is worrying,
Yeah.
because the number of people on the right and the left that have warned about AI's dangers and where this could go wrong. And I think, Michelle, you made a great point. I hadn't even thought about the kind of, now that we've gotten through COVID and all that people are learning and all the questions that still aren't answered, how quick are people going to be to accept what the government says and what's produced? I think it's a great way to think about it. And it's a great point you made. And that's a great dog, by the way. Totally
Oh,
acceptable.
thank you.
Oh, come on. Is that real? Or is that an AI dog or is that real?
It is.
What's that dog's name?
His name is Albie, short for albatross.
Oh,
Ooh, all right.
man. He should have his own show on Two Way. Sean,
Yes.
talk about Albie, Two
Westminster
Way,
Dog Show contestant.
whatever you want. AI, whatever you
Yeah.
want, Sean.
There's a really robust conversation in the chat that I'm trying to keep up with too.
Yeah.
I agree. I think one, I'm just enjoying the Musk Sam Altman thing in the last 24 hours. It's rather epic. I share serious concerns. I like AI scares the crap out of me, because I look at it like the Terminator. Like it at some point, if it's not done right, you know, who knows where this thing ends up. The government role is to Mark's point concerning, because the government can't do the most basic things right. And then the last thing I do worry about is somebody, on the right, is if it's garbage in, garbage out. And so if you have the people that are writing the algorithms and everything for AI on the left in Silicon Valley, then what we're going to eventually, I mean, I actually am concerned about how the algorithms that are being used to create a lot of the stuff that's coming in and out.
Yeah. You saw it in Joe Biden's comments publicly He didn't usually say it explicitly, but you could read his body language and his tone. He got a lot of briefings saying, "Mr. President, this thing is like a big, complex problem." And I know from Donald Trump's talking to people, Donald Trump's been asking people, even during the campaign, especially in the transition, like, what are we supposed to do about this? Like, what are the steps we need to take right away?
So can I make
it's
one
massive.
other
Yes,
comment
sir.
on that? I think Trump at least embraces the technology. He may not, like, as a leader, right? The thing that should scare the crap out of most people on a bipartisan basis is that most members of Congress can't turn their iPhone on. And these are the same people that are going to decide what regulatory measures are appropriate for AI. And so I just that's part of this, is that how does this thing play out?